Thank you so much for attending. We're excited to welcome Haley Van to the Chicago Sky. We'll open it up to media questions, starting with Julia.
Hi, Haley. Welcome to Chicago. I'm Julia Poe with the Chicago Tribune. Just first, kind of starting off, what kind of conversations have you had, if any, with the Sky going into the draft process, and what was that like on draft night?
Yeah, I've had a few great conversations. Deep in my heart, I wanted to come to the Sky. I felt like just with the two quick conversations I had, I felt a ton of alignment and I felt like they saw who I was as a player and I felt valued. So, I was hoping that I was available when Chicago's picks came, and you never want to put too much expectation or hope because you never know what will happen on draft day. But deep in my heart, I was really hoping that this is where I ended up.
When you talk about them seeing you as a player, what kind of are those aspects of yourself that you felt like fit with the Sky?
Yeah, I think number one, they believed in the parts of my game that they think will translate to the league. And coming out of college, that's always the biggest question for players is people always are talking about whether this will translate or that will translate, or she can be successful at this. And I just felt that they really believed in things that I do well, and not just skill set, but more mindset and personality. They really wanted someone that brought toughness, that was gritty, could fight. And, I like to think that those are character traits that, are displayed when I play. And so, again, I just felt a ton of alignment in what they were looking for and what I feel like I bring to the table. So I was very encouraged after I talked to them, and I couldn't have been more happy when my name was called.
Last one for me, you're coming into a team that has a lot of vets in the guard position. What are you looking forward to with working with them, and have you had the chance to speak with any of them, specifically like Courtney, Ariel, some of those guys?
Yeah, I have spoke to both Courtney and Ariel. I think that I'm most excited because what those vets do really well are things that I'm looking to improve upon or really take advantage of learning from them. Particularly with Courtney's overall court vision and the tempo that she plays at. I cannot wait to watch film with her, to just observe her in practices and pick her brain about how she controls games and controls the speed of games and gets her bigs and her shooting guards the ball when they need it to score. So I think that she's one in particular that I'm really, really excited just getting to be around.
Go to Chris.
Hi, Haley. Chris with Fox Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you.
What's the last month been like for you, especially going to Elite Eight run to draft night to today? What's that been like for you?
I was telling someone the other day, it kind of feels like how the Olympics felt. It's like a huge sprint and there's so many things going on and you don't really know what's going on. But then when you look back, you're like, wow, that was incredible. But it's kind of the same vibe. But I've been just trying my best, especially, when we were in New York for the draft experience, trying to stay present because I only get one of those in my whole career. And I've been trying my best. That I won't lie, there's not a lot of schoolwork getting done right now. Sorry to my professors. But I've just been trying to soak it all in, and because this is really the last little bit that I get to sit back and enjoy before, it gets real quick with training camp coming up. So it's been crazy, but it's a blessing to be in this position, and I'm super grateful.
You mentioned the Olympics too, not only the college experiences that you've had, but winning a lot of basketball everywhere. What does that mean, or what can that bring to the WNBA for you?
Yeah, I think my Olympics 3-on-3 experience in particular, just trying out for that team was a huge confidence builder for me, knowing that I was coming to the league next year, because I was trying out against WNBA All-Stars. There was a lot of elite WNBA talent at that tryout, and I proved that I could fit into that roster, and they selected me, like they handpicked me to be on that team. And so that was a huge confidence builder. But also, I think that my role on that team was huge for setting me up for what my rookie season will be like, because we had Ryan Howard, we had De'Arica Hamby, we had people who are very established in the league. And so it was my job to help them be really successful. And when the team needed me to contribute and score and be tough, make tough plays, rebound, get stops on defense. So I felt like I really used that experience to learn, okay, this is how I set my big time players up. And then this is where I fit in, where I can steal a layup, or I can go one-on-one here because there's spacing. So I think that experience will be very helpful for me going into my rookie year.
We'll go Andy, front row on your left.
Hi, Haley. Andy Diedrich, Pioneer Daily News. Welcome to Chicago again. You were a 5-year starter in college, leader of multiple different teams. This time you're going into a team that has notable roster turnover and a new head coach. What's the transition mentally for you to go from one role to kind of this new role that you're stepping into?
Yeah, I mean, I've been transitioning a lot my last couple years in my career. You know, I'm not new to having to learn a new system and new coaching staff and new teammates. That's one good thing about my unique career is I'm very well experienced with change. So I'm gonna approach this change like I've been approaching the last ones and get a feel for what this team needs from me to help be successful and help win games. I think at the end of the day, universally, my mindset going into any team is how can I help this team win? So I'll figure that out very quick, I'm assuming, and I know that the coaches will do their best to help me figure that out as well. And I think I have great vets that are gonna be more than willing to help me in every way that they can. So you know, it's obviously hard. Everyone says that the jump from college to the WNBA is way harder than anyone thinks going into it. So I fully expect it to be hard, but I also, you know, want to have confidence in the fact that I'm experienced with, you know, new environments.
You talk about with those veterans that you've had conversations with, but also at the same time, you get to play with your former teammate, Angel Reese, as well as Camila Cardoso, two college basketball legends. What's exciting about the prospect of getting to play with a young front court that's that big and that talented?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing with size. It makes my job a lot easier. I think, you know, it's a different environment than when I played with Angel the first time, but I think that's all good things. And we're both different players than we were when we played with each other, but again, probably good things. So I can't wait to get to play with Angel and Camila. I've played against Camila a lot of times. I've never got to play with her, so I'm excited to be on the receiving end of that and not have to play against her anymore. But yeah, I think that will add like a youthful flair, some you know, fun energy, and I think it'll be a great time.
We'll go Christian, second row on your left.
Hi, Haley. Congratulations again. Welcome to Chicago. Christian Conway, Winsider. So you mentioned that you played with Angel before at LSU, and I know a lot of people want to know, what do you think is going to be the biggest difference between you guys playing at LSU and now playing together on the Chicago Sky?
Yeah, I can't speak to what will necessarily be different with her. I think I can speak to what will be different with me is that you know, the WNBA provides a lot of spacing, and I think that we have a very unique roster where that will be the case when we're on the floor. And you know, anytime that I am able to play in space with very, very talented bigs, very, very talented guards around me, I think, you know, that's when I'm able to do my job best. So I'm really, really looking forward for the chance to play with Angel in this new system and see how it goes. I think that will be, you know, even more impactful than we were when we played with each other in college.
And then just to follow up, what is the best advice you've received thus far from Angel or any of the vets to prepare you for training camp?
Best advice to be in shape, probably. As long as you're in shape, you know, you can take the bumps and the bruises as they come. But if you're gassed, that's a hard place to be in training camp. So my one goal is to be in the best shape that I can.
Thank you, Haley.
We'll go to Jason on Zoom. Please unmute.
Hi, Haley. Jason Leisure with the Chicago Sun-Times. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned needing to be in shape and ready for training camp, which starts soon. How do you do that coming off a season of playing 40 games and not having a lot of time in between to recover?
Yeah, I think another part of my game that my 3-on-3 experience really helps with is knowing how to get yourself in shape and how to stay in shape. 3-on-3 is the ultimate beast of you have to be in shape. And so I've had a lot of experience with preparing to play 3-on-3 and obviously I need to rest and make sure I'm healthy coming off of a long season where we did make a great run. But that's my job as a player to handle and to communicate with the people that are helping me prepare, is let them know when I feel like I'm ready. And at this point, I feel like I'm ready to begin. So I'm gonna definitely use my experience with preparing for 3-on-3 to supplement conditioning and combine skill set with conditioning to be at my optimal shape coming into training camp.
Carly Bell on Zoom, please unmute.
Hi, Haley. This is Carly Bell with Courtside with Carly Bell. Welcome to the city of Chicago. I know everyone has talked to you about playing with Angel Reese, but obviously, as you've said, you guys have grown exponentially, just in the 2 years. Just when you look back on that time that you did play with Angel, what are things about your game that you have either grown in or expanded that you believe can translate to the W seamlessly?
Yeah, I think number one, the style of play that I've become comfortable with as a point guard has improved a lot. I've really found, especially towards the end of this season, I found a great balance of what playing the point guard looks for me, because I am not a traditional pass first point guard. That's not how I can help a team best. But I've figured out a balance of how I can be, most efficient, most effective with distributing, facilitating, scoring, pushing tempo, being the leader, all those things that a point guard has to do. I think I'm in a great rhythm and in a great stride of what that looks like for me, for Hailey Van Lith. I don't want to try to copy anyone else that's in the league, but I also, I don't want to try to rewrite the script. I want to be in the middle where I'm learning from people, but I'm also very comfortable with what I bring to the table. So I think just number one, the most that I've grown from my season at LSU is like knowing fully what Hailey Van Lith as a point guard looks like.
And then to kind of follow up on that, we obviously know what you can do offensively, but your defensive game, especially on ball pressure, is something that we really saw this last season at TCU. Defense is something that's really vital in the WNBA. So what are some things that you've just seen in the defensive game in the WNBA that you will either need to grow, expand, or that your defensive game can already bring to this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think one thing that I'm starting to get the hang of but I need to continue to get better at and grow for the league is just with my size. I am smaller. I need to win the low battle every time. Anytime someone's putting the ball on the floor, anytime someone's going for a pickup, my hands need to be around, making them uncomfortable, trying to get strips, anything to disrupt rhythm. I have to win the low game, whether that's when a big does get a rebound over me and they bring it down for a second, can I tie them up? When someone is coming off of pick and roll and they try to put me in jail, can I get around and pick them from behind on the low side? So continuing to get better at winning the low game is going to be huge for improvement and impactfulness for me in the league. But one thing I think that I'm prepared for on the defensive end already is I'm a physical player. I know how to harness my physicality due to my smaller size. I'm very comfortable with the physical style of play. I think you can see that in how I play in college, and also, with how well my game translates to 3-on-3, just how physical that style of play is. I'm very comfortable in that environment, and I intend to use my physicality to help even things out anytime I'm at a size disadvantage. So that's kind of my defensive approach.
We have time for 2 more on Zoom. We'll go Steven, then Alyssa. One apiece, please.
Hey, Haley. Welcome to Chicago. Steven Prejean Gardner, CHGO Sports. I have a kind of 2-part question for you, so bear with me on it. You bet on yourself going to TCU for your final season. Curious, what was it about Mark Campbell's program that prepares you for this specific moment? And then the second part of that, you've credited Derek Grant for the off the court work and the mental side of things that you've harnessed coming up in the social media age. Can you speak to the value that that brings for an athlete and having that balance of on the court and off the court mentally?
Yeah, to your first question, I think the biggest thing that, piqued my interest with TCU and Coach Campbell was he runs a pro style offense. He's turned out a lot of pro players that are very successful. Number one being Sabrina Ionescu, who, like me, is not the most athletic person in the room. So I think knowing that he has helped someone exponentially already become successful in the league, I found a lot of confidence in that. And he showed me the blueprint of what they were planning to do with this team and what he thought my role was going to be. That role was a lot of playing point guard. And that's what I knew that I needed. I knew that to be, very impactful and to reach my potential at the next level, I had to become more comfortable at the one than I was at the two. And so I just was really excited for the opportunity that his offense, posed to me of what my role would be. And the players that we had around, we had spacing, I had shooters, I had an elite big who could play in the midi and at the rim. So just the personnel and the offensive structure was the closest I could get to a pro style offense. So that's really what I was super intrigued by with TCU and Coach Campbell, and I think it worked out very well for us. And then moving on to Derek Grant, I think he has been so monumental for my game and me being able to be consistent. I think a lot of athletes ride the highs and the lows. That media and social media and the public eye caused us to go through. And that was me for a long time. When I was up here, nobody could tell me nothing and I was hooping. But then the next game I could be down here and you would have looked at me and thought I was a completely different girl. And I was tired. I was tired of it. I was tired of being inconsistent. I was tired of playing good half the season and then playing well below what I was capable the other half. And so I realized that it was all mental and I needed to work with someone who could help me. I couldn't help myself on my own. I was too young. I didn't have the right perspective yet. And so Derek has helped me become more self-aware, helped me accept myself more, helped me learn to navigate when I feel myself wanting to go into the highs and the lows. So he's been huge for me personally, and I would suggest every athlete, no matter what sport you're in, no matter what age you are, to work with somebody who is like a sports psychologist, because it just, number one, you just get to know yourself more and you learn to appreciate your journey instead of always looking on the outside for what the next thing is. So I highly recommend every young athlete, accepting help to work on the mental side.
Alyssa, go ahead and unmute.
Hi, Haley. I'm wondering how you define a good coach and what you're looking for from the Chicago coaching staff at this point in your career.
Oh, how do you find a good coach? For me, I think a good coach is one, somebody who can bring something out of you that you necessarily don't see in yourself. But also, I love to play for mature coaches, for coaches that are also self-aware. For me, somebody who's working on a journey of spirituality and learning who I am and being self-aware, I very much appreciate a coach who also, holds those capabilities. So number one, a great coach is somebody who can win, but who also can get the most potential out of their players to help the team win. And I think what I'm most excited about with the Chicago Sky staff, like I said earlier, is they were already believers in what I brought to the table. And not even necessarily about skill set and all that, but the mindset and who I am, who my DNA is, like who I show up as every day as a person. They were 10 toes behind that from the first conversation we had. And for someone like me who, you know, personal connection and relationships can go a long way. That meant a lot, and they're really excited about their player development, and that's right up my alley too. I love to get in the gym and work hard, and you know, I really do think that I'm gonna get a lot better playing under the Chicago Sky staff. And, you know, that's all I could ask for is an opportunity, an organization that believes in me, but also knows what I can get better at and is gonna put all their effort behind getting me there. And so I think it's gonna be a great fit, and I really can't wait till I get cleared and am able to get to work with them.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Haley. Good
Again.
I'm good.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.